Hi, I'm Elisa. I'm the Half Asian Tarot Queen. And so I'm just checking in after this Wolf Moon lunar eclipse. There's been just like a lot of shifting energies coming through on that, like the Wolf Moon. And there was a reading that I did for the Wolf Moon aftermath that had some really interesting synchronicities that happened. And I've been getting a lot out of this mystical shaman oracle, so I think I'm going to start with that because I've been having some crazy synchronicities with this deck lately, and it's kind of always been one of my favorite decks, but I'm really feeling it right now, so we're going to start there. But last week I had this really powerful reading for the Divine Feminine that came up, and there's a lot of threads that are intersecting on the channel right now. And so if you're new to the channel, thanks for joining. Welcome. Just want to let you know that the videos on the channel are arranged in a slightly less than standard fashion, in the sense that they're not arranged according to date or zodiac sign, but they're arranged according to storyline. So they're interesting. So there's a number of storylines that are recurring on the channel, some sort of like recurring characters, and so I like to liken it to being sort of like a daytime soap opera, in the sense that there's these recurring characters and these recurring storylines, and so they're running independently, but then sometimes they intersect, and overlap, and that's when you know something really big's going down. And that definitely has been happening with this eclipse and the whole eclipse season. So I'm just going to start with the cards. So we got the eagle. This is really interesting because I totally noticed an eagle the other day when I was just like perched over me, and I was just like, this means something. I know it does. The Rainmaker and the Jaguar. So this is really interesting because this Jaguar has come up in a couple readings in the last week, but it was also very significant in this reading that I just did, called Wolf Moon Aftermath. I would definitely check out that reading. But it's really interesting how this came out, because we'll just start here. The Jaguar is a card of just sort of like mastering your shadow self, and sort of like having already done that exploration. And so you can kind of wander into the unknown with just like total fearlessness, because you're in command of yourself and your dark and your light. And so there's no you don't need to box yourself in, because you can handle any situation and be sort of in your flow, because you've kind of mastered your own elements. And so, and you're there at the top of the food chain. You're in command of your inner realm. So you can go anywhere. Like you're completely equipped for any situation, And then on the other end, we have the eagle. And so this card is like a card of freedom, and it's just like you can like spread your wings and fly, So it's like you see the world from like a bird's eye perspective, but yet you have this laser vision where you can see like the smallest details, because you're the eagle. So it's just like these like, this is like almost like the master of the underworld, and this is a master of the heavens, and they're both here, and so and they're both kind of inviting you to like break out of your routine, because there's something bigger there, and it's just like you've got the Jaguar and you've got the eagle behind you. So you've got like all the realms, you know, and then in between that, this is so beautiful, you have the Rainmaker. So this is a card of manifestation and of sort of like harnessing the power of the universe to manifest, you know, your desire. You know, you have all the elements at your disposal. So it's kind of like the alchemist, or, you know, the magician in the tarot, where it's just like you have all of the command of all four elements, so you can make anything happen, you know. And that's kind of like the Rainmaker. So it's interesting because it's like you've got, you're the master of your underworld, you're the master of your shadow side, and you're the eagle, you know. You can fly into the heavens, and you have like ultimate freedom, you know. And then in between that, you have the Rainmaker, which is, you know, basically taking command of all the elements and manifesting, you know, your highest self. And so it's just sort of like you've got everything here. And it's crazy how the cards even like match, like they go together. And it's just like you have the power, you know, to do basically anything, you know. I mean, that's basically what it's saying, you know. It's like you're in command of yourself. You can soar, you know, through the heavens, and, you know, the universe is behind you. So it's just sort of like, go for it, you know. It's like, now's the time, you know. So, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. I love this. Okay, so I just pulled out the Radiant Wise Spirit. And the card at the bottom of the deck is the Star. So this is a card of manifestation, a card of wishes coming true, you know. And it's a card of like it being in your moment, you know. I split it and I get the like 10 of Wands. So it's just like, put that burden down. Like, it's time for your moment, you know. Like, this is it. Like, so I'm gonna keep shuffling, and I'm gonna pull some overall energies for the reading. But yeah, it's crazy because like with the Wolf Moon eclipse, it was almost like, you know, it was like all about coming into alignment, like you're coming into alignment with yourself, and then also, you know, in the other direction, being in alignment with all that is. So like, not only are you in command and in total power of your emotions, but like you're in sync with the universe. So like, it's your moment, you know, which is like amazing, you know. And so then it was just sort of like, in the aftermath video that came right after that, it was all about how, like, you know, the shift had happened, you know, where you had come into this alignment, and then it's like all of a sudden, like, all these things that like were holding you back before, it's like they didn't matter. Like, you had like ascended to some new level where like none of that stuff mattered anymore. Like, the rules had all changed, you know. And so pretty game-changing stuff, you know. Okay, so at the bottom of this deck we have the Eight of Cups. So this is like walking away from something that you've invested a lot of time into, but just doesn't serve you any longer. Like, you've outgrown it, you know. So you're like moving on to a new adventure, you know, in search of something else, you know. So it's just sort of like this eagle, like, it's time to spread your wings, you know. Okay, so then for the 3 overall energies, I get Temperance, which this also came out in the Wolf Moon Aftermath reading. We got the Fool, and we've got the Truth. This is so crazy because it's like almost like the same message. So it's just sort of like, you know, this is a card of alchemy, a card of manifestation, a card of temperance and balance, you know, where it's just like, you have, you know, these elements, you're mixing them together, you're manifesting something, and you're in command of yourself, you know, and in total balance. And then, you know, this is empowering you to like take this leap of faith, which is, you know, the Fool card, where you're just sort of like, you're like free like the wind, you know, like it's like step out on faith, like, because there's something else out there for you, you know, like whatever this is, it's going into the past, and like you're setting out on a new journey. And then we have the Ace of Swords. So you're like, you've come into alignment with yourself, and now you're like just going out and looking for your truth, you know, which is kind of like what all the messages around the new year and the new decade have been about. Like there's this massive realignment happening, you know, just with everyone, where it's just sort of like, you know, however life was before, like it's not working anymore. Like you're ready for the next chapter, you know, and so it's time to make the journey, you know. So pretty cool. I'm pulling out another Rider-Waite deck. This is a Chinese deck that I got, and I love this deck. It has this weird like rainbow, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got this weird rainbow sparkle undertone thing going on. But I'm going to pull some cards from this to get some general energies for the reading. But yeah, it's almost like, you know, whatever's been holding you back, you know, it's like, especially during the holidays, I think a lot of times you get sort of like, you know, you're just kind of like keeping the peace, and you know, it's good to see everybody like but it's like, yeah, like you kind of like compromise in order to like make things work with you know, your family and whatever constraints are around, you know, and then you end up having to sort of like make compromises. So I think especially like, you know, people like bust out of the gate at the new year, because it's, you know, it's time for this new beginning. You know, so it's like people start like new like fitness routines, and like, you know, just try to come into alignment with their truth. You know, I think that's pretty common at the new year. But I think with this new year particularly, because we're starting a new decade, like it's extra impactful. So, okay. All right. So at the bottom of this deck, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So this is a card of family, stability, abundance, you know, and it's like, this really resonates with a thread that's going on the channel called Dynasty, where there's this sort of like, it's the story of this birth of this family dynasty, you know, where there's like this abundance and this family structure that's all sort of like forming a foundation, like it's just starting, whatever that is. But there have been a number of threads that have been intersecting in this really interesting way lately. So we'll see how that comes up. Okay, then we have the Hanged Man, the Ace of Swords again. So whatever this truth is, like, it cannot be denied. Like, it's just like out there and in the plain light of day, you know, like whatever this was, it's like can't do it anymore, like, and it's pretty clear, you know. And then we have the Hierophant. So it's sort of like this Hangman is like a card of contemplation and sort of taking a step back, because it's like something needs to change. And so oftentimes this is like taking a moment for yourself before taking this sort of action, because it's like you sort of know that, you know, in order to usher in this change, there's going to be some sacrifice that's going to need to be made in order to like make room for things to change. And so you're sort of, you know, being super thoughtful and contemplative about what that's going to be, because, you know, obviously it's hard to sacrifice things that, you know, mean something to you, but clearly we've reached the end of this rope, whatever this is. And then we have the truth card right after this. So again, you know, this is it's kind of a repeat message. It's like you're going to have to give up something important. And then we have the Hierophant. So this can be a card of marriage, you know, which is interesting because we had, you know, this dynasty card come up. So it's like support, like maybe, you know, you could be getting married, you know, like, and you might have to give up something important to you in order to make that work. Or this could be like an institution, you know, this could be like a new job, like you might have to sacrifice something in order to take this offer, you know. But whatever it is that's gonna have to be sacrificed, like the truth is being told about that, because whatever this new structure is, it's like on the horizon here. So then we have the Knight of Swords, we have the Nine of Cups, and we have the Three of Pentacles. So this is really pretty straightforward. It's just like, this is a message of truth and clarity coming in, you know, this truth that's coming out. And it's like somebody's wish is coming true. This is a wish card. This is a card of wishes coming true. So whatever this truth is, it's like somebody's wish is coming true. And this is really interesting because this card came out twice in the reading, the Wolf Moon Aftermath reading. So definitely I would check that out because there definitely seems to be a relationship. And then we have the Three of Pentacles. So this is a foundation for something. So it's interesting because that fell out right under this Hierophant card. So like, whatever this is, this new job, this new family, this new marriage, whatever it is, it's the foundation for like a whole new life, you know? It's like maybe the foundation for some sort of dynasty. Like whatever it is, it's important. Like it's important enough that you're going to have to sacrifice something that was important, you know, in order to bring it in. But it's your wish, you know, so you're willing to make the sacrifice. So, you know, it's time to take a leap of faith and step out into this unknown, because there's a lot of potential here, whatever it is, you know. So I'm going back to the Rider-Waite, the bigger cards, and I'm going to pull 3 cards of guidance about how we might move through these energies. But it seems like pretty straightforward, you know. It's just like, you know, you've come into some sort of alignment, you've stepped into your power, and now it's the moment to kind of step out into this new life, you know, which is really beautiful, but like it can also be like kind of nerve-wracking in the moment that's happening. Okay, oh, I had like 2 cards that just came. Oh, interesting. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, there was a bunch of extra cards that just flopped out, but we're just gonna take them. On the bottom of this deck, we have the Knight of Swords again. So this message of truth and clarity is coming out. So this almost like, because it's like this came out twice, it's almost suggesting to me that whatever this message is, it's been kind of held back for a while, and so it's like really coming out now. Like there's no holding it back. Like it's like 2 fiery horses with swords is like coming out with this message. Like it's just, you know, and then we had like 2 of these also, you know, so it's just like this truth is like, it's being blasted. Like everyone knows about it. It's common knowledge. Like there's no denying it. Like the times they are a-changing, you know. Then we have the Six of Pentacles. So this is a card of giving and receiving and like bringing that into balance. So whatever this truth is, it seems like it might be ushering some kind of rebalancing of relationship structures, because this often has to do with relationships, because it's like giving and receiving between people. we have the Hermit. So this is a card of sort of like seeking your own spiritual guidance. It can be a Virgo energy, but just like kind of, you know, taking a step back and seeking your own counsel. So, you know, that's kind of like this Hanged Man card. You've taken your time, and you've really thought about how you're going to go about creating this new balance. And it seems like it might involve offering a cup of love to some party, which is interesting because this theme has been coming up a ton too. And I feel like this came up in, I'm pretty sure it was the Wolf Moon eclipse reading. But I'll link it. I'll check it out and I'll link it. But somebody's getting offered a cup of love. And then right next to that we had the Justice card, which is interesting because this concept of some wrong being righted and some love being offered has been coming up for months. And it's been blocked by like some toxic situation. But this has been a recurring theme for a while. So it's almost like whatever that is going to balance this situation. So yeah, this is crazy because this is, yeah, been, like I said, this rebalancing and this love being offered, like this energy has been coming up for a while. So yeah, I guess, you know, whatever that truth was having to do with that situation, like, it's coming out, like, it's time. So, all right, so I'm pulling out the Goddess Guidance. See what the goddesses have to say. Just going to pull out a couple oracles at the end. There has been like a huge prominent divine feminine energy that's been coming through in the readings lately, so I thought I would pull a couple of goddess cards at the end and see, because yeah, like I said, the divine feminine reading was super powerful this week, and I had two come out. So sensitivity, you are becoming increasingly sensitive. Avoid harsh relationships, environment, situations, and chemicals. Which is interesting because, you know, there's been this whole thing about leaving something behind that meant something to you, but like whatever it is, it's like hurting you now. So it's like time to move on from it, you know, like it might have been working before, but now it's like, nope, this doesn't work anymore. And then bodies of water, spend some time near water such as a lake, river, or ocean to recharge your batteries. So definitely like a moment of healing for sure, and that's been coming through also. I think the Wolf Moon and the Divine Feminine reading, you know, it's like these truths are coming out and they're like healing these situations that have been like toxic, you know. And so it's like take this moment to come into alignment, because really it's going to serve you. Because, you know, obviously it's like you can come into alignment, then you can attract the situation that's going to be like your highest good. So, you know, take this moment to like heal, because it's important. Okay, so then we got the Hot Moon, and it's card of like, oh, I guess there's two cards that came out. Extremes. So like some intense energy coming through. And then we have the Thunder Moon, which is a card of change. So yeah, this is like a really powerful change that's happening right now. So it's like take time for yourself, because something really profound is being healed right now, and it's intense. Like, it's really intense, but it's powerful, you know. We're ushering in a new decade, and things can't keep going forward the way they've been. Like, it's time to step into a new era, and you know, that means big changes, but you know, it doesn't all have to happen overnight. You know, like, you can take your time and it's okay. So that's the message for today. Good luck with that, and we'll be back soon with more messages.